This is Teaching Hebrew. Let's do it better. And this particular video is going to focus on the impact of the materials that we give our students on their decoding work. Now, there are two practices that I want to suggest we put aside. One is that there are textbooks, workbooks, teacher-made materials that take the words from prayers and blessings and mix them up on the page with the idea that if students can practice decoding, even if it's slow, it will help them improve their speed and get to fluency. Now, research from the science of reading says that when someone is decoding slowly and laboriously, and you have to figure out how you're going to define that, but when they do that, it does not lead to fluent and accurate reading. Now, we're not going to get to reading. We're working on the decoding, but we have to think about what that means. I believe we need to be keeping the words of prayers in order. Second practice is not offering students the words as they are laid out on a siddur. Now, I always had said that if students are going to be reading in a siddur, it makes sense for them to practice from that page. And that is true, but later. But if you look at a page like this is Yotzer Or, you can see that it's all compacted together. It's hard to see for a beginner where the vowels are, that it's not an easy read, and it looks really dense, and getting from the top to the bottom feels like it's going to be a slog. On the other hand, research both from the science of reading and from graphic design says when you set up the page so that someone can really see what they are working on makes a huge difference. In this case, it's about making sure there's an extra space between words, an extra space between lines, and that specific research from decoding of prayers says that when you parse it according to where you might take a breath or where the grammar tells you there's a pause, this really helps students get into the rhythm of better Hebrew decoding or reading. So this is the recommendation. And I've had a couple teachers say to me that they had students working with a prayer that was not set up like what I just showed you. And they said that they figured, oh, I'll try what Nechama suggested, and it made a huge difference. Not all the mistakes were corrected, but suddenly this burden of the slow slog of decoding was taken away because students could see better what was going on the page. So think about the materials that you're offering to your students, experiment with a bit, and see how it might make a difference for you too.